Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. Very happy to see you here in great numbers this morning. And this is an historic event for the University of Winnipeg and the community of India here in Manitoba. We're very, very pleased to be having this opportunity to sign an agreement to collaborate on a number of projects going forward. My name is Sylvie Albert. I am the Dean of the Faculty of Business, Economics, and Professional Education here at the University of Winnipeg. And I am very pleased to introduce the first Board of Directors of the new Centre for India. I will ask the members to stand and be recognized. Mr. Anupam Sharma, the Director of Operations for the Dakota Ojibwe Tribal Council. Mr. Robert Daniels, the Chief Executive Officer of the Dakota Ojibwe Tribal Council. Mr. Terry Duguid, the Director of Northern Prosperity Initiative at the University of Winnipeg. Mr. Sachit Mehra, Vice Chair of the Winnipeg Downtown Biz. Dr. Manish Pandey, Associate Professor in the Department of Economics at the University of Winnipeg, and who has also been the link between the community of India and the university. Mr. Jean-Pierre Parenti, President and CEO of Parenti Reitmer, and I would like to acknowledge the fact that Mr. Parenti has won a prize recently as Entrepreneur of the Year. Mr. Ardev Sandhu, Partner, London Limos, and President of India Association of Manitoba. Dr. Pawan Singhal, Professor and Director of the Institute of Cardiovascular Science and Community Leader. Thank you. We're extremely excited to start on this venture. The University of Winnipeg had been active on a number of fronts in India and with the Indian community here in Winnipeg and Manitoba. In fact, we had started actually last year in November with our first speaker series where we had Devi Sharma, who's here in the audience, participate on a panel on political life. It was very interesting, and we felt that it was worth continuing and looking at a number of programs on the social, cultural, and economic front. In fact, we will have a very interesting year in planning some of the activities that we will undertake together, including at the end of November, we are expecting to receive 22 business people from India and collaborating with the World Trade Center to do a B2B session for 1 day. So it should really get us started in a bang, and very much looking forward to hosting these honorable business people and enhancing some collaborations with India. At the Faculty of Business and Economics, we're of course primarily interested in looking at how we might advance the concept of business partnerships and business research, economic research, perhaps exchanges that we might look at with students and faculty members in India, and how we might better collaborate and understanding cultural aspects, diversity, and so forth within the university. But the India Center is more, although it's housed at the moment within the Faculty of Business and Economics, we fully expect that it will have a number of projects and initiatives that will happen with all the faculties here at the University of Winnipeg, and we look forward to exploring all kinds of innovative opportunities going forward. So we have a number of speakers on the agenda. I will ask the Honorable Lloyd Axworthy, President, Vice Chancellor of our university, to come forward and say a few words. Dr. Axworthy.
Well, thank you very much, Sylvie, and good morning to everybody. It's a great pleasure to welcome you to Convocation Hall on the important occasion of this development of a major center for the university and for the Indo-Canadian community. We're we're very excited by this opportunity, and it really brings together a series of activities that has been taking place over the years between the two partners. Just looking down the list of joint enterprises. So Let's Talk India, the effort to establish a forum on political discussion. Last year, several students from our master's degree in development spent time in southern India working on a food security project for local rural villages, and have actually developed an ongoing commitment through one of our esteemed professors to develop that into something that can be utilized in parts of rural India on developing more secure food supplies. We've opened up a literacy center for girls in India, which we're continuing to support, and the development of this center will give us an opportunity to really provide a very direct engagement with the increasing evolution of the relations between Manitoba and various parts of the Indian community. This was drawn to my attention. I've been sifting through old files recently. My wife said I have to get rid of 93% of them. And I came across one that I stopped to read. And it was a report on a discussion that I'd had with the then Prime Minister of India, Dr. Gujaral. Many of you will remember him. He and I became very, very good friends at the time. And part of that discussion was how the opportunity for India and Canada to not only develop just commercial relations and political relations, but to really begin to work together on common issues across the world. That we could begin to have discussions about the things that we're all being affected by, whether it's the changing climate or the importance of providing higher levels of equality, of looking at how we develop an effective economic system that's based on some fairness. We really felt that because of the deep richness and history of India itself, along with the common experience we had for many years within the Commonwealth, that there were some real ties that needed to be woven together into a way of exchanging our mutual efforts, and to try to find a much stronger sense of commitment. And the thing reason I mention that is the word that emerged, I think, from Dr. Gujaral's presentation. He said, but where that begins is in the community. You can only do so much with governments, and so, I mean, that's clearly very important. But we have to really provide the ties that bind amongst our communities between India and Canada, and to develop sort of opportunities for exchange for young people, for families, for scholars, for poets, to begin to work together on so many areas, for business people who can look at the incredible surge of new enterprises that are developing. And I think that's really what this center represents to my mind. It is a community-based center. It has come about through very serious negotiation, discussion, conversation over the last, we were talking, Doctor, about a year and a half, 2 years, with Neil Besner from our academic vice president Provo leading it. Sylvia got into it, and of course, members of the board of directors who Sylvia just introduced. So I'm very grateful to those who have spent this time working on that concept of how we build from the community forward, grassroots up, establishing an area. And I know that recognizing the Minister of Education, sort of James Allen, who's been on the job now 3 weeks, I think, close, huh? And the member of legislature for the area, Mr. Altemeyer, our city councilor, David Sharma, how much involvement and importance for government it is that there be a place in which advice, knowledge, learning, expertise can be developed, so that the kind of initiative the Premier took last year to visit India and to open up all kinds of doors, we now have to find ways to help implement, help bring those commitments and those agreements into fruition. And we believe this center will be the forum, the catalyst for much of that discussion to take place, where we combine our strength, our interest, and I can tell you that as a university we will be committing a very strong effort to open up and develop the resources of the university to help support the activity and work of this center. So let me just say by way of conclusion that my words of appreciation to those who helped develop the center. It does bring together in a convergent way a number of the discussions and mutual activities, but I think that it really is a launching pad for a very significant development for the community to become part of a much stronger set of relationships that we will develop with the magic country of India, which I have enjoyed visiting so often. So thank you very much, and I welcome our guest, and we look forward to the center's first projects. I'm told already you got a few things lined up, so I'm sure I'm going to be asked for some resources very soon.
We've got a lot of witnesses that he's opened the door. Now, if I could ask a visionary and someone who's been very active on the international front to come forward and say a few words, Dr. Niels Besner, who is our Provost and Vice President, Academic and International. Dr. Besner.
Hello, Sat Sri Akal. This is a very important day for the University of Winnipeg, and I want to thank everybody who has done a lot of hard work to bring this project to fruition. I want to thank Dean Sylvie Albert, the members of the board. This discussion, as the President just pointed out, started about 2 years ago. It is a very important project for the university. We have significant ties with the Indian community here in Winnipeg and also in India. So the President and I, for example, traveled to the Punjab, I guess it was 2 years ago, Lloyd, to look at the learning center that the university has constructed in the village of Banohar in the Punjab. It's close to Ludhiana. That is a flourishing enterprise. We have many connections through the academics in Sylvie's department that work with the community. We have all kinds of ties with the Indian community, and this, to me, is a project that is really going to strengthen the ties between the university and the Indian community. We have a lot of Indian students attending the university. We hope to have more. This is a relationship that has deep roots, and all I can see is further growth for it. So congratulations to all of you who've worked on this project. Congratulations, Sylvie. I look forward to many accomplishments. Thank you very much.
Mr. Hardev Sandhu, if you could come forward. Hardev and the rest of the board, I think over the last week, because of this visit coming forward, have been exchanging feverishly a lot of emails and has worked very hard to bring this to fruition.
Thank you, Dr. Sylvie. Sat Sri Akal, Namaste, Salam, and good afternoon. President and Vice Chancellor Dr. Lloyd Exworthy, Ms. Devi Sharma, Councillor, City of Winnipeg, and all our distinguished guests. As I look across the hall, I know the presence of members of India Association and our community, the University of Winnipeg, those from the larger community. On behalf of Board of Directors of India Association of Manitoba and the larger Indo-Canadian community, I thank you for honoring us with your presence. It means a lot to us. How appropriate that we all met at the occasion of Diwali that has just been celebrated. The celebration will be concluded with the Diwali Mela at the Convention Center on November 9th, with Dr. Lloyd Exworthy serving for the occasion as chief guest. In so doing, the community acknowledges his many contributions, including his leadership and support for the India Center for Academic, Business, and Community Excellence. I also bring to your attention the festival of Diwali for another reason. I was told that in 1965, to celebrate this festival of lights, on October 30th, 1965, 36 Indian nationals met at Dr. Atish Maniar's residence. Discussed at the time was a need for an organization that would preserve, facilitate, and promote the culture and tradition of India, also an enhanced relationship and understanding between our two countries, Canada and India. So was established India Association of Manitoba. Dr. Atish Maniar is amongst us. Today we salute him for his work over the past so many years. Organizations respond to the needs of context and time. They need to change accordingly. Today, India Association must respond to a change and confident India, similarly Indo-Canadian community. The establishment of India Center for the Academic, Business, and Community Excellence is a momentous occasion for both the India Association and the University of Winnipeg. The community and academy joined hands to create a town and gown platform that will facilitate and enhance the relationship and opportunity between our two countries, Canada and India. It will also allow for those who have roots or are supportive of India to raise awareness and understanding about India in all aspects. Last but not the least, it will also serve a strong platform by which the Indo-Canadian community can continue to make contribution to Canadian society in all areas. As you all know, India Association of Manitoba, established in 1965. In fact, that was even before I born. Is the longest serving organization, serving as hub for its members and the community. That it has survived through the past 5 decades, it is because the efforts and work undertaken by the committed and dedicated group of the person that have always been present through the years. I can see there's so many past presidents are sitting here right now. With the establishment of India Center, the association will continue to remain relevant and responsive to needs and expectations of its members and the larger community. Another one marker for this sense of optimism is the vibrancy of India Pavilion at the Fokorama. The increase in attendance in recent years and the composition of this attendance tells us that our association is playing its role of serving as a hub for Indo-Canadian community of Manitoba, as a bridge and connector, as it seeks to consolidate and enhance relationship and understanding between Canada and India. Again, on behalf of India Association and its members, I thank you for honoring us with your presence today. And the work now begins. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
The next person bringing greeting is Dr. Pawan Singhal. And I'd like to outline the fact that I arrived here 1 year ago, and Anupam and Dr. Singhal had a meeting with me and Jennifer Rattray, and they were not going to accept no for an answer. So these are very hardworking gentlemen that dedicate an awful lot of time to volunteerism, and it's indeed an honor to be working with you. So, Dr. Singhal.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Dean Sylvie Albert, Premier Greg Salinger, President and Vice Chancellor Dr. Lloyd Exworthy, City Councillor, or should I say Speaker of the Council, Devi Sharma, President of India Association, Mr. Hardev Sandhu, and distinguished guests. As Hardev has pointed out, the establishment of the India Center for Academic, Business, and Community Excellence is indeed a momentous occasion, both for the university and the community. The beginning today represents the proverbial tip of the iceberg. Underneath, which cannot be seen, are the currents as well as the mass, which will determine its movement. So it is with this scenario that we are having the establishment of the India Center. That means there's a lot more to come. It is befitting that we have the presence of the First Nations from Treaty 1 with us. Our close relationship with the university began when two members of our board were engaged with the university and the DOTC, First Nations Pavilion, held here on this campus. Very briefly, the thought process for the India Center got initiated in 2010 and 11 with the project Year of India in Canada. And that was about the time when the University of Winnipeg invited the larger community for proposals as a part of the future strategic plan and priorities of the university. And India Association embraced that invitation. And our early discussions with the university were led by Mr. Anupam Sharma and Dr. Manish Pandey. And they did work very closely with Jennifer Rattray, who was the instrumental personality here on campus to get us going. I myself traveled to Ottawa and had fruitful discussions with the then Acting High Commissioner of India, Mrs. Narendra Chauhan, who endorsed the initiative of India Center wholeheartedly. My one-on-one meeting with President Axworthy and our multiple group meetings with Vice President Neil Wessner and Dean Sylvie Albert has brought us to this day of signing this document. The India Association of Manitoba and the University of Winnipeg have collaborated diligently to promote the academic, business, public education, and cultural contributions of the Indo-Canadian community, and by extension, the relationship and understandings between our two countries, Canada and India. For the India Association, it will be an added platform for a formal engagement with the university to discuss and deliberate, not only with the Indo-Canadian community, but exchange, share, and interact with the larger Canadian society. These aspirations are based on the relationship we already have with the university, beginning with the President's office, that provided both support and encouragement to our initiatives, such as Year of India in Canada, 2011, Dr. Lloyd Exworthy and myself served as the co-patrons. University support as a sponsor towards India Pavilion, annual contribution to India Magazine, published and distributed for free, public forums that have been already convened, and some more are in progress, engaging the community in the hot topics of interest. So there has been already a good history of relationship. Now, as we embark upon the next phase of our journey, in addition to President's office, we look forward to, with great anticipation, the leadership of Dean Sylvie Albert, who will serve as the chair of the board of directors of the India Center, and Anupam Sharma as the vice chair. And some of the future projects on the horizon are youth-led initiatives, forums, students exchange, etc. Let's Talk India, an annual conclave with the university and the Indo-Canadian community. Be a resource base for organizations interested in India-Canada opportunities and relationships. Identify, facilitate, and promote collaborations and partnerships in areas of interest involving India and Canada. Host trade missions, and this is not just in saying, but in reality, there is indeed a trade mission now in the works, which will be coming in about 2 weeks and will be staged under the flag of India Center. So holding workshops with India Association on subjects of interest to the community and the university. Host cultural activities of interest to the community. In closing, distinguished guests and friends, the establishment of the India Center is a beginning. It is my fervent hope that India Center will serve as the go-to place for those with an interest in India and Canada. As per my comment, tip of the iceberg, there is much more to come, and this is a work in progress. I thank you for your patience.
The Government of Manitoba is a strong supporter of the India community and the University of Winnipeg, and we thank you for that. You've shown that over and over again. I'd like to recognize MLA Rob Altmaier from Wolsey, who's here with us today. The Honourable Minister of Education and Advanced Learning, Mr. James Allen. Looking forward to working with you closely. And, of course, our Honourable Premier, who will come to address us now. Greg Slinger, please come over forward. Thank you very much.
Merci Sylvie, c'est un grand plaisir d'être ici avec vous. Thank you very much for all of you being here. And as I was thinking about it, I saw Dr. Checky here, and I just said to Lloyd, I remember coming and speaking in Dr. Checky's classes on community development. So the relationship between India, the University of Winnipeg, has been very concrete for many decades in terms of the professors here that have taught many generations of students. And Dr. Singhal, I know you from the St. Boniface part of the world, and you've expanded your influence to the University of Winnipeg. Congratulations. Mr. Sharma, past president, and of course, President Sandhu. The initiative of the India Association, you said it's been active since 1965. That's almost 50 years. That's a very strong story. And we've seen so many people from the Indian community make a big contribution to the quality of life we have in Manitoba. My first experience was Dr. Reddy, who was my physician, family physician for many years. And he was a pioneer, and I'll just tell you a little story. You never made an appointment when you wanted to see Dr. Reddy. If you didn't feel well, you picked up the phone, he said, come on down. That's what we call advanced access to physician care now. And you would go down there, and this was even before Medicare, not to date myself, Lloyd, but, and the place would be absolutely full of people from the newcomer community. And he didn't go home until everybody was seen, and that would be 7 or 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night. And of course, when Medicare came along, his efficiency generated a lot of fee-for-services. He was a very successful physician that served the community very well for many decades, and just had one person at the front, one secretary, one little office on Portage Avenue, and then in the basement of Polo Park. And I wish we had more physicians that would see you when you pick up the phone that quickly these days. And so, my experience has always been very positive, starting at that relationship level and then taking it from there. And of course, we had an excellent trade mission to India last year. We saw so many of the villages in the Punjab region. We visited New Delhi. We visited Mumbai. We saw some of our Manitoba companies starting to make inroads in India, people like West Steel, MTM. We saw companies from India setting up shop here, like Ria Travel. We know that the academic exchanges have been very important. We met with universities that are very eager to have exchanges with us on research. We know that there's a growing number of students from India that are coming to get educated here in Manitoba. We hope some of them stay, but we know many of them will go back and provide leadership in their country. So to have this Center of Excellence for academic activities, business activities, and community activities will build on the experiences we've had. I see Terry Duguid at the back of the room. We went to a very important village where we opened up a special library that was focused on serving women in that community. And that was a very important day for us. And I know that a lot of the capital and a lot of the resources were fundraised here in Manitoba to build that library. And University of Winnipeg was a big part of that. So we've got very practical relationships and resources that are already in place. So we start from a position of strength when we sign this MOU. And that strength will only grow and flourish. In Manitoba, we want to be a place that everybody in the world wants to live here. And as we said, you know, India plus Manitoba, one of the largest populations in the world when you put those two together. Think about it. Think about it for a second. 1 billion plus 1.25 million people. And that's what I heard when I was in India. When you have that partnership, we can do great things in the world together. And so I think this research center will be a beacon for that. Congratulations, and thank you, Lloyd, for helping that happen. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Premier, for being here. We certainly appreciate your kind words. And now I will ask Devi Sharma, someone who is a leader and a beacon for young women in politics, representing the City of Winnipeg.
Sat Sri Akal, Namaskar, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's wonderful to be here, and it's extremely meaningful to me as City Councillor, as an alumni of UWinnipeg, and most especially as a member of the Indian community, as this MOU is being signed. The University of Winnipeg has gone through a major transformation in the last several years, with expansions like the Richardson College for the Environment and Science, the Buehler Centre, the Bill Wedlake Fitness Centre, the redevelopment of the Quad area, and many other initiatives, and today, the launch of the India Centre. And the credit for all of this goes to Dr. Lloyd Axworthy. I thank you, Dr. Axworthy, for your vision. I thank you, Dr. Axworthy, for your vision, your leadership, and most importantly, your follow-through. Talk is cheap. We all know that. You, Dr. Axworthy, have actually made things happen. And today is another example of your efforts in collaborating with the broader community. Congratulations to all on today's launch of the India Centre at the University of Winnipeg, a very, very proud moment. And now I would like to read official greetings from Mayor Sam Cates. On behalf of my esteemed colleagues on City Council and the citizens of Winnipeg, I would like to extend my sincerest greetings to everyone attending this exciting announcement establishing the India Centre of Academic, Business, and Community Excellence. An exciting partnership between the India Association of Manitoba and the University of Winnipeg, this Memorandum of Understanding is a significant step forward in recognizing the considerable contributions of our Indo-Canadian community. Further, I know that this initiative will solidify a stronger link between India and Canada. Our city has fostered such a great sense of community, which is in large part due to the pride each citizen holds for their culture and heritage. Thank you to all the key players for launching this initiative that will ensure a brighter future for all of us. On behalf of the City of Winnipeg, I applaud the enthusiasm and commitment of both the India Association of Manitoba and the University of Winnipeg on recognizing the achievements and rich history of our Indo-Canadian community. Warm regards, Sam Cates, Mayor of Winnipeg. Thank you.
Final words before we sign the agreements officially. Special thanks. We are on Treaty 1 land. I would like to acknowledge Robert Daniels, CEO of the Dakota Ojibwe Tribal Council, and ask him to come forward.
Bonjour. Benestiana Kudnijnikas. Kabski Gamag Nunji. I just introduce myself in my given name and where I'm from, Swan Lake First Nation. And it's really an honor and a privilege for me to be here on behalf of Dakota Ojibwe Tribal Council as the CEO to welcome everybody to Treaty 1 territory. As you may know, 4 of our First Nations are part of Treaty 1. And again, I want to welcome everybody. I don't know if I should say make yourself at home, but anyway, you're here. Anyway, it's really an honor, like I said, to be part of this historic day today with the India Association and the University of Manitoba, or University of Winnipeg, signing this partnership agreement. We too are looking forward to a similar agreement with the Tribal Council and the University, hopefully in the next little while. And I'm also honored to be part of the India Center. As an Umpam indicated to me, it's a virtual center of excellence for academic and business and community affairs within Manitoba. So again, welcome everybody, and congratulate yourselves on a job well done, and we look forward to many good things coming out of this. Thank you very much.
Before I ask everyone to come forward for a signature, I'd like to recognize that Minister Carey Irvin Ross has arrived, and we thank you very much for being part of this exciting day with us today. Thank you. Further demonstration of how the province of Manitoba loves us. So if I could ask Dr. Axworthy, Dr. Besner, and Hardev to come forward so that we can do the signing. And also, if I could ask you, Premier, if you would mind witnessing the signing of the agreement. Thank you. Could I ask if I could just ask the board to come forward for a picture so we have a historical moment.
Yes, that's right. We just.
Chutney.
Now, I was worried there. I thought we were going to have a little bit of paparazzi. Before I ask Anupam to come forward, who's been such a strong voice behind all of this, if I could take a moment to thank the staff in my office who have organized this event. So Jessica Atkin, Lynn Bailey, and Dallas Hall, wonderful women that really make the whole thing happen. And where's Anupam? Come forward, my friend.
I guess it's my pleasant task to thank you all for honoring us with your presence. It gives us all a great boost of confidence, and I would be remiss if I did not mention in particular those who had the faith in us, stepped in to provide support, and rolled up their sleeves and lent the shoulder. That's very important. I'll invoke and paraphrase the poet who said, "We started a few with an idea, and the caravan followed us." So this is just the beginning. The caravan is in place. From a few, we have the multitude, and when we meet 5 years from now, it'll be a different occasion, but the next stage to what India Center should be about. Serendipity and caravan are the endpoints or the bookends to this journey so far. The first with DOTC and First Nations, for it was during the conversation concerning the DOTC First Nations Pavilion, we got a chance to broach the initiative leading to India Center. So we did all the various initiatives. Here I want to acknowledge Robert Daniels, CEO of Dakota Ojibwe Tribal Council, for his vision on the First Nations Pavilion, but more importantly also Jennifer Rattray, Associate Vice President, Indigenous Government and Community Affairs. I cannot say enough good things about Ms. Rattray, only to say she has been a great partner, highly encouraging and supportive of us all. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, Jennifer. From the Faculty of Business and Economics, we thank Dr. Sylvie Albert for her enthusiasm, support, and leadership. She pulled up her sleeves and led from the front. We also thank Jessica Atkins and Lynn Bailey for the attention they have devoted to the India Center, despite having their work plates already filled to the hilt. We thank the Board of Directors of India Association who put their faith, trust, and support in us all to undertake this journey. And they're here, and I'd like you to stand up, whoever is here, to be acknowledged. The Board of Directors of India Association. Thank you. As we planned for this event, there were some who stand out. Gaurav Bhatt, Adarsh Bari, Prashant Tipnis, and Surekha Joshi. They were just there making sure that the names were being forwarded to us for the India Center. So we had the people, and we had a good representation from across the board. Please. I would be remiss not to point out Print Pro Digital for going beyond the call to ensure that documentation was in place. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. I thank Badresh Bhatt, he's here, and his team. Thank you so much. To East India Company for the care and professionalism with which they undertake their work. They are in charge of the food today. Thank you, Sachit, and thank you for being part of the board. Last but not least, I am going to take a personal liberty to thank and add in my few words as well. For us all who are involved in voluntary capacity, doing volunteer work in addition to our day jobs, I always do try to remember our spouses and our families, for they bear the brunt of the chores and the work that has to be done at home. I know our house is not clean, but Timmy, that'll be taken care of Friday, hopefully. I thank each one of them, really, for giving us the freedom and the space to us to undertake this work. It's not easy on them, but they are understanding. I appreciate that. I want to acknowledge the leadership of Hardev Sandhu, our president. He has built on this initiative, and I'm sure under his vision, this is just the beginning for both India Association and the India Center. To Dr. Manish Pandey, he has contributed tremendously over the years, and for the future as well, will continue to benefit from his expertise and wisdom. Thanks. Last but not least, I want to acknowledge two eminent personalities from whom, through observation, I've learned and admired so much, Dr. Lloyd Axworthy and Dr. Pawan Singhal. Dr. Axworthy, for his vision and contribution at all levels, we are honored that the India Center will find a place in this list as well. Thank you very much, Dr. Axworthy. Dr. Singhal has been characterized as a servant leader who is always led by action and example, and I admire that. I, along with others, are grateful to him for standing by and providing immeasurable encouragement and support to us all at India Association. Thank you so much, Dr. Singhal. To close, I want to thank one and all for taking time out of your busy schedules to celebrate with us the announcement of India Center, focusing on academic, business, and community excellence. The work now begins, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming.
Now the moment we've all been waiting for, the wonderful East Indian food. Let's all have an opportunity to network and taste of India. Thank you.